So let's travel into the future and talk about the newest Doctor Who secret layer, and pretty much or probably the reason why it didn't come out with the rest of them. To be honest, I think this is a very fair and easy one. They had 2 or 3 specials and they could not release the 14th and 15th Doctor and then the rest of it because they didn't want to spoil anything. So what they probably did was wait until the episodes were released and then release the secret layer for people to buy, which does make sense. This is one of those things where I really do love Doctor Who, but I don't have Sky and I don't know anyone that has Sky, so I cannot personally watch this until I have waited it until it goes out on Disney or watch it online in other ways. I don't do that, but that is a potential I could possibly do if I really want to watch it. So in this video we will be going over the secret layer bit by bit, talking about the cards individually, and then answering the big question at the end: is this secret layer worth it? So before I say any of this, I am a Doctor Who fan, so I am going to be biased, but I'm going to try my best not to be. This secret layer comes in 2 options, foil and non-foil. It is 45 for the non-foil and 55 for the foil, which is really weird because usually when they do this type of stuff it's 35 for the non-foil and 45 for the foil, so it's gone up by a tenner. Where even the previous Doctor Who secret layers were 35 and 45. So I don't personally know why they're a tenner extra when they're pretty much kind of the same, but also not. The other ones were Magic the Gathering cards as Doctor Who themed. These are Doctor Who cards, just printed by Magic the Gathering. So that's probably why the money's gone up by a tenner, because you can only get them in the secret layer, where with the other cards you can get the cards just not with the Doctor Who art on it. In this secret layer you get 5 cards with a potential 6 because they usually have a hidden card, but we won't know until it's out what it possibly is. But the 5 cards are Rose Noble, the Meep, the Celestial Toymaker, the 14th Doctor and the 15th Doctor. So let's start off with Rose Noble. Rose Noble, for 3 in a blue, you get a legendary creature human that is a rare. She has Ward 2. Whenever you cast a Doctor spell or creature spell with Doctor Companion, draw a card, Doctor's Companion, and is a 2/3. So 4 mana for a 2/3 with Ward is okay. The ability is quite good, however, it only works in the Doctor Who decks or the Doctor Companion cards. So you can only ever realistically use this when it comes to the 4 Doctor Who decks. Outside of that, this card is pretty much completely useless. It does give the ability to give a blue pip onto any of your other Doctors that if you didn't want. So it is good when it comes to your Doctor Who decks. But that's it. I'm not the big fan of that. When it comes to secret layers, I want to be able to use them pretty much whenever I want. So again, the annoying thing about this is if you want that card, it has to go into your Doctor Who decks. But if you don't have a Doctor Who deck, but you want the other cards, this card becomes pretty much useless. Now we're going on to this adorable creature called the Meep. The Meep, for 2 in a black, you get a legendary creature alien that is a rare. It has Ward, pay 3 life. Whenever the Meep attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, creatures you control have base power and toughness XX until end of turn, where X is the sacrificed creature's mana value, and it is a 0/4. 3 mana for a 0/4 with Ward, pay 3 life is very weird and very unique. You don't really see it. It's a legendary creature, so it can be your commander, which I think is amazing. And then it has the ability that if you attack, you're allowed to sacrifice a creature and be able to pretty much all out attack someone. Now, the only downside of this card, personally, I think, is it should have been black-green. That's just my sole opinion, mainly because this card would be a really good commander. You play it down, you pretty much ramp with the green, play a few creatures, play, I don't know, a Desolation Twin would be absolutely great. You then Behemoth, the big massive everything gets XX and trample. You sacrifice the token or the actual creature of Desolation Twin. Everything's a 10/10 that gets +X for all the other creatures you have, and then you wipe out your opponents. This is a really good commander. It has really weird abilities, and it's a card that I can't think, again, if there is a card like this, let me know in the comments down below, that can be your commander and change the power and toughness of your creatures. Now I know there's the cycling creature, the creature type that can be everything, that has the same ability, but again, that's white and non-legendary. This is a commander that you can literally go, cool, I have a bunch of, for example, giant demons, sack, everything's bigger, you win. It is such a good card, it is such a good commander, and that's why I'm like, this card is worth buying. But again, if it's solely Doctor Who, this card could also be a non-Doctor Who card, which is why I think it's good. But the next one. And the next one we're going over is the Celestial Toymaker. The Celestial Toymaker, for white, blue, black, you get a legendary creature, Rogue Artificer, that is a rare. Whenever the Celestial Toymaker attacks, look at the top 3 cards of your library, exile any number of them in a face down pile and the rest in a face up pile. Defending player chooses one of the piles, put that pile into your hand. At the beginning of each end step, each opponent loses 2 life. Each spell or ability that causes one or more players to guess or to group cards or permanents in a pile this turn, and is a 2/4. A 3-mana 2/4 for no keywords is okay, but it gives you 3 colours, which is really, really good. It has an ability never seen before, or in my knowledge has never been seen before, where you literally get to make 2 piles like fact or fiction, but one is seen and one is unseen, and then your opponent picks. This is a really good mind game, but then no matter what, each opponent loses 2 life per kind of fact or fiction. So again, if you want to build this deck, fact or fiction would be a must in there, but also let me know what other cards does this ability for how many damage you could possibly do on one turn if you had infinite mana. I'm curious if anyone can answer that question. Overall, I think this is a really cool and unique commander, and we should see stuff more like this, in my personal opinion. However, it should have a magic variant for the people that don't like Doctor Who. Now we're going on to one of the 2 Doctors, the 14th Doctor. The 14th Doctor, for a hybrid mana of a red and green, white and blue, you get a legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor, that is a rare. Whenever you cast this spell, reveal the top 14 cards of your library, put all Doctor cards revealed this way into your graveyard and the rest to the bottom of your library in a random order. You may have the 14th Doctor enter the battlefield as a copy of a Doctor card in your graveyard that was put there from your library this turn. If you do, it gains haste until end of turn and is a 3/4. 3 mana for a 3/4 is very good, especially since one is a hybrid mana of a red and green, which again gives you a 4 colour commander. Now when it comes to this, the only reason I see it is somewhat good is if you're building a full Doctor Who deck with all the Doctors on it and you want him as a commander. That is literally if you buy all 4 decks or 3 of the decks and mash them into this and have him as the commander is the only way this card is good in my opinion. Again, when it comes to these cards, I do like them. I do like what they're planning on doing or what they're trying to do. However, when I buy a Magic the Gathering set, I want a Magic the Gathering card. It didn't bother me when they done this with like Fortnite and that horror show, I can't remember, on Netflix, Stranger Things I think it's called, because they had the card's name underneath, or they said they're going to make a Magic variant of that. Because I have some of the cards, but I waited until the actual Magic the Gathering set came out because I'm not a big fan of stuff. I know for a fact I have the red-green Street Fighter, who was the green guy. I have the Magic version of him. This is what I like when it comes to that stuff. When it comes to this, the Meep and the Celestial Toymaker are both good cards, and are playable outside of the Doctor Who realm. I know it's a Doctor Who card, but they should have a version of it in the future that is not a Doctor Who card. And I did say this was going to kind of happen when they done the same thing with the Lara Croft stuff, where if you want to build the Lara Croft deck, the only thing you can do is buy the Lara Croft, and if you don't like her, nothing you can do about it. But now let's go on to the final Doctor. And the final Doctor is the 15th Doctor. The 15th Doctor, for 2 blue and a red, you get a legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor, that is a rare. Whenever the 15th Doctor enters the battlefield or attacks, mill 3 cards. You may put an artifact card with mana value 2 or 3 from among them into your hand. The first non-creature spell you cast each turn has Improvise and is a 3/3. A 4 mana 3/3 is okay, but the ability is kind of good, except for I'm not the biggest fan. The fact that you're able to, when it ETBs or attacks, get a artifact with 1 or 2 mana into your hand if you mill it is okay. I'm not a big fan that it goes to your hand, especially if you're milling it. I would rather go on the battlefield, because there's only powerful one I can think of is Soul Ring, so if you think of any more, let me know in the comments down below. But then it gives your first thing, Improvise, so mana rocks won't really be a thing you're looking for, and then I cannot think of any other powerful artifacts that are 2 to 3 mana, so it seems you're going for a kind of equipment commander that's all based on 2 or 3 mana that you can then use to tap to play the creatures you want to play and then equip the stuff on. It's a very weird and strange commander, and I do think it could be good if built right. So if anyone decides to build a commander deck on Moxfield, please do and link me down below. I would love to see it, because this is one of those commanders that I like, because you have the unique ability of building it to see if it works. I've never seen a card like this. It is a good card, but the fact that it goes to your hand is not the best thing. I would rather have the uncommon, common, shitty artifact equipment enter the battlefield, because again, if you get that overpowered Soul Ring, you're not going to tap the Soul Ring for Improvise. You're going to tap the Soul Ring for the Soul Ring mana. So I can't think of any powerful cards. So let me know in the comments down below if there's any powerful cards, if it entered the battlefield, that would make this OP. Or if you build the deck, let me know how you build it. I would love to see people build this commander deck. But let's go on to the big question after all of this. Is this worth it? So I'm going to start off with the price. Bulking it up by 10 quid, not a fan of that. I'm going to get a bit, I don't know what to call it. It seems like I'm angry. I'm not angry, I'm just fed up. Hasbro just announced that they're pretty much firing the 1,100 people, a big chunk of the business, and a lot being Wizards and D&D things, and I can see why. It's these decisions. It is pretty much every business gets to their high point where they're absolutely amazing, and then they go, we can do what we want. This worked 10, 20 years ago. This worked for this company, and then pile drive their own merch into the ground. And Hasbro is known for this, and they refuse to listen to anyone. So bulking up by 10 quid, only making cards for secret layers that only work in that area makes no sense. I personally buy secret layers, so like I bought the Doctor Who LAN ones because I'm going to play the Doctor Who LAN ones. I buy the one that had the Arcane Signet, the space one, because I'm going to use them. I bought the one that had the Massacre Worm in because I have a Massacre Worm. Like every secret layer I personally buy is one I'm going to use majority or all the cards. I'm a Doctor Who fan. I don't have the Doctor Who decks. If I wanted this, there is the Celestial Toymaker, the Meep, and the 15th Doctor that are somewhat playable, but out of them, I would rather have a magic version. I would love to have the 15th Doctor as a commander, or even see if I could build it. But I don't want the 15th Doctor. I want some mad scientist from an unknown plane that does the same ability. Not the 15th. I have nothing against the 15th Doctor. I haven't watched any of the Doctor Who stuff yet because it's not out. But it's nothing to do with the Doctor Who thing. It's, why would I play this? Why would I spend 45 to 55 on a commander that, if I place with all the rest of my decks, kind of looks out of place? I would be fine with it if they were making a version and I would wait for that, but it seems like they're not. seems like, again, I think if I watched my videos a year ago, I was more like, this is okay. Year before that, this stuff's great. And it just seems each year I'm kind of getting saltier and saltier. And then I'm seeing people online also getting saltier and saltier. So is this worth it overall? Depends on you. If you have all 4 Doctor Who decks and you want to build the Doctor Who decks, it's worth it. Not in foil. Normal, I would spend 45 quid if I knew I was going to use the 14th Doctor and Rose. The rest I wouldn't. But that's just personally me. So that's why I'm like, it depends on how big of a Doctor Who fan. Collector's item, if you're a big fan of Doctor Who and don't play Magic, normal, don't buy foil. The foil is so much of a waste, especially with shipping. And I love making these videos, and I don't want to rant that they're getting worse and worse. But the more scripts I write, the more silly decisions I see them making, the more annoyed I'm getting when it comes to these. Or not even annoyed, like I feel more drained. When not burnout, but I feel kind of like, oh, they're doing this again. Like, when the Lara Croft one came out, I was like, that's actually somewhat a cool commander. It doesn't make me want to buy it. I want a Magic version, because again, I played the Lara Croft games when I was younger, and I watched the Lara Croft movie, but that's it. I haven't played any of the new Lara Croft games since it hit PS2, I think. And now they're making Doctor Who cards that are solely Doctor Who cards that pretty much after the Secret Lair is gone and out with, the only reason you will ever remember these existed is if there is a new player, or a player you know, obsessed with Doctor Who, that wants to build the deck that lets you win if you have 13 or more Doctors, and have solely fully concentrated on the 14th Doctor. You might see the Meep. The Meep is a good card. I actually really think the Meep is the best card and the perfect card when it comes to the Secret Lair. The only thing I would change is it would be Gruul, but that's just me. And it would have a Magic the Gathering card. But, again, I'm keep going on a tangent. I don't think it's worth it. Only reason I would say anyone should buy this is if they're a Doctor Who collector and they just want it because of the Doctor Who cards. If they want to build a 4-colour Doctor Who deck, yeah, that's pretty much it. And again, don't buy it in foil. Buy it normally. You should not have gone to buy a tenner. So, if you think I'm wrong or have your own opinion, please let me know in the comments down below. While you're there, remember to like, subscribe, and follow me on my social media. I will have the previous Doctor Who Secret Lair video linked, so please go watch that. I'm trying to get my watch time up as much as I possibly can. But as always, if you like this video, I have the previous Doctor Who Secret Lair Is It Worth It here, a playlist of Magic the Gathering stuff, Is It Worth It, and a subscribe button here. Again, love and appreciate all the help I've been getting, and I'll see you all in the next video.